Hello there. In this video, we'll learn how to open a GLFW window and render our first triangle. Now, before we actually begin coding, we need to understand the process of how we use OpenGL with GLFW and GLEW. For our setup, there are 7 steps that we need to follow. First one, initialize GLFW. Second, create a GLFW window. Third, make an OpenGL context. Fourth, initialize GLEW. Fifth, initialize objects that we are going to use. For our first triangle, we won't be doing that. The sixth is the render loop. And the final, seventh one, is we clean up all the objects that we created and then we terminate GLFW. Now that we have understood the theory, let's begin coding. Inside main.cpp, we'll include GLEW.h, will include GLFW, GLFW3.h, and also IOStream in case we want to print anything to the console. Now inside the main function, first of all we need to initialize GLFW, and if it fails, we simply return -1. Now we need to create a GLFW window. So GLFW window pointer window equals GLFW create window. Now I'll create a 1440p window since I'm on a 4K screen. As of title, I'll just name it OpenGL, and we don't need to bother about monitor and share for now. If window is null pointer, which means some error occurred and GLFW was not able to create the window, then we'll simply terminate GLFW and return. Next, we need to create an OpenGL context. We do that by using GLFW make context current and pass in the window. Great, so that's 3 steps done. Now we need to initialize GLEW as well. So GLEW init function will return the result, and if this result is not GLEW OK, then we terminate GLFW and return. Now the fifth step, which is to create and initialize objects that we'll be using in our draw calls in our render loop, we can actually skip for this particular tutorial because one, we're using Legacy OpenGL, so it's very simple, and two, we're just trying to draw a triangle. So we don't have to bother about any vertex array objects or buffer objects or indices, or we don't have to worry about all of that, shaders, textures. We'll completely skip them for now and we'll head on straight to the render loop. So inside while, we'll call this while loop until the window should close. And inside the render loop, we need to call 3 functions. First is GLClear, and we'll pass it GLColor buffer bid. So what this does is it clears the current buffer so that we don't have artifacts from previous frames. Next, we need to call GLFW swap buffers to swap the back and the front buffers from the swap chain, and then we'll just call GLFW pull events. Now the drawing code will actually go in here, but for now we'll just skip it. We'll do it a bit later. Now When it comes to step 7, which is terminate, it's very simple. GLFW terminate, and we return gracefully this time. Now, if we created any objects in step 5, then we would also have to clean up those in here. But since we don't need any objects right now, we'll just skip that as well. And one thing that I want to do is print the OpenGL version. We do that by using GL get string and passing it GL version. Now let's run our program. We get a window and we also get the OpenGL version 4.6. Great, that's amazing. Now it's time to draw the triangle. As I mentioned earlier, the drawing code would go in here. So let's write some code. First of all, we need to tell OpenGL to begin drawing. We use that by using the GLBegin function, and we pass it GL triangles as the drawing mode. We're drawing triangles. We also have to tell it to end this drawing process, and in between we'll call GL vertex 2f, and we'll pass in 3 vertices, one for each corner of the triangle. Now you don't actually have to understand it right now. In the very next video, I'll explain to you how these work exactly, especially in the context of OpenGL, so you understand it better. Okay, so let's run it. And we see a beautiful triangle and it's white. Let me show you a quick trick you can use to change the color of the triangle. We use GL color 3F and we can pass in the red, green and blue channels. Let's say I want to print a red triangle. And there you go, a red triangle. So that's it for this video. In the very next one, I'll be explaining to you the OpenGL coordinate system so you can write the vertices on your own, and it'll also help you out when we are dealing with indices and matrices and a lot of other stuff. If you found this video helpful, please like, share and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.